guys, welcome to the show again. With us today, Rudy, which is the second time that he joined us on this podcast on Wake the F Up, because he has more things to share with us, and that's, I think, good opportunity to have him here today. Thank you, Rudy, for accepting the invitation.
Thank you for the invitation, Nizar. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, great. Same, likewise here. And so let's first reintroduce Rudy. Who is Rudy? By his own words. I know a bit more about him right now, but I'll let you just go ahead, maybe in a few big chunks of information. Just tell us, summarize your biography.
As an entrepreneur, mostly, I'm always looking for exciting ways to make value in the universe. Part of my life, part of my journey as a spiritual development, you might say, I've been a lot in philosophy, mostly Western philosophy, Eastern philosophy, theology, arts, etc. I wrote a book about these matters, about reality. These are questions that interest me a lot, so I discuss them a lot because I enjoy it. And yeah, and the latest news I have is that me and my amazing co-founder, we launched a mindfulness app that we were working on in the past 14 months. It's been an amazing journey. And
congratulations, by the way, again, second time.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this is in short who I am.
Since you just launched this mindfulness app that I found really interesting, by the way, I tested it, guys, and I'm gonna be sharing the link with you. Just explain to people who never got this word of mindfulness. They talk about it on the right, on the left. We hear it by most spiritual guys, right? So what do we mean by mindfulness, Rudy? What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, as you said, a lot of people have a lot of definitions from mindfulness and maybe some ideas about what mindfulness is. But basically, it's quite simple. Mindfulness is actually what the word says. It's being full of mind or being mindful. So when we are children, it's the only thing we know, right? We're very mindful, very aware of our surrounding, of the universe. We find it very exciting, and we want to understand everything, and we're mindful of everything. When you know, as a child, somebody says, "Hey, look here," you're just
capture a lot of, try to get as much data as possible. I have my nephews here, by the way, with me in Morocco, and it's just interesting to watch them, because I don't have kids of my own, right? So it's interesting to watch the kids just grow. And they're like, whatever you say, they just repeat it and just do, you know, something out of it. And you're like, oh, this is interesting.
Exactly. And when we grow up, we kind of start losing it because life is overwhelming. You know, you get a lot of input. You wake up and work and study and parents and family and everything, and you just lose it. And you become, you know, just in the flow of, now, some people would call it the matrix. I would be more subtle about it, but in the flow of life, and you forget about being mindful. So in essence, it's being mindful first of your surroundings. You can say things like nature, or, you know, just the basic things, people, the sunlight, and the simple idea of just being aware of this makes you more happy. And the most important thing about mindfulness is being mindful to your own being. I mean, this is what we ignore most of the time. When we become so immersed in life, we forget about ourselves. So it's about being mindful to our surroundings and being mindful to ourselves. And I think this is very important for every human being. So mindfulness would be the backdrop or the background of all the practices that people refer to as, let's say, spiritual practices of different kinds. It could be, you know, religious or anything really. So when you practice some method, the backdrop is mindfulness. You're aware of your being and your surroundings.
It's more about opening your radar to more things in life, right? More or less.
Yeah, it's a very scientific
Yeah.
thing that you right now.
And so the question is, why should we care? Why would anyone? I mean, we live in this matrix, in this life, and all right, fine, we're just focusing on one thing, and our sort of focus is so limited. But why do I care to open it if I'm just getting my, my pleasures and dopamine shots and going through my life every day till I die, right? So it's
Yeah, of course. You know that there's a lot of data coming out that says that anxiety and depression is going to be the biggest pandemic in 2025. That's kind of shows you that people are not in a good place. When you are overwhelmed with life and you forget about the things that, the little things that can make you happy. As you said, the dopamine hits that we get, they're becoming more and more artificial and more easy to get. And once you get something that it's very easy to get and you get constant dopamine release, you abuse it. And in the end, you become unhappy. So it's the way back. It's not opening the radar, but it's becoming the radar. It's the radar itself. So you can observe life in a more profound way. And it's not difficult, it's the essence of who we are. We just have to find our way to connect back. And this is why we should care.
It's interesting because in my recent book, the subtle art of to wake the F up that I just released,
Good luck, by the way.
I put the equation. I try to use the equation. I'm like, you can call me a nerd or a scientist, whatever, but originally at least. And so I like equations, right? I like to play with numbers and now with words and equations. And when you say I am aware of something, right? That's an interesting one, right? So you say I, the subject, sort of aware, there's this awareness of something which is the object. And the thing is, most people will focus on the subject and the object, right? Those are two different things, but you will totally ignore the awareness part, right? The I am aware of. And so you will just say, I feel, I know, I touch, I do. It's all like our life is like a bunch of experiences that goes like this, but we never mention this I am like aware of, which comes in all experiences. The common sort of term is this awareness, right? And that's sort of the example of the being the radar, as you said.
Exactly.
And so, Rudy, tell us more about, so how can I be more mindful, right, from your perspective, since you worked on these projects of yours? I suppose you did a lot of research and gives you more insights into this field.
Yeah. Well, essentially, it's quite easy. It's actually the easiest thing you can do, right? But people are different. I find that everyone kind of resonates with something else that they find in life. So find things that you can engage with, not in your usual way of engaging. Let's say if you like nature, take time once a week, go to nature, just sit, If you like exploring, just sit quietly and explore yourself. If you are more, let's say, scientific, you can play with mathematics, which is a wonderful way to explore the universe. If you're musical, you can play. I'm a musician. Well, I used to be a musician. Now I'm just doing it for a hobby. But I got this left.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, for example, when I play, there's two ways to play. There's a scientific way to play. Let's put it, like that. Scientific way to play is try to remember the notes, try to remember the rhythm, and just
like
the
structure,
tempo.
right? Structure,
exactly. But the way I do it is I just go with it. I'm just start to play, and I'm just there. So it's not like I'm playing, it's playing through me. So this is a way to be mindful, and everyone can find that, example in their own life. And part of what we did with Affirmate, we can cover that later, but this is a way to be mindful in just 90 seconds a day. So this is the premise that I'm working on.
I'm gonna go back to this because it's interesting to understand the rationale behind it, right? We get a bit more better idea about how to be more mindful, but it's also a practice every day. It's not something that just, okay, I'm gonna be more mindful and your life changes, right? It takes time. It's like sports, right, for the mind in a sense. But there's this idea of setting an intention that we talk about a lot. In many videos I've heard this idea. So you need to set intention behind mindfulness. What do we mean by that, and why?
It's a great question. It's a great question. And what you just said about you referred to a gym, right? You need to do it, like a gym. So it's the same kind of thing when you practice. People, it's very easy for people to understand that, if you wanna have a body that is like a jacked body, you need to go to the gym, but you don't do it once. You need to commit, right? So there is a way to get there. So if you understand that on the physical level it works like this, it's very easy to relate that on the mental level it's the same thing. I mean, if you want to understand something and you want to be more I would say proficient in something, you need to repeat it. It's very
it's a skill, right? It's a skill.
Yeah, it's a skill that obtained with time, and essentially it becomes you. But at first you will need to do it again and again. And for your question of intention setting, so
yes,
I have like a good example from life. I'm going to give it to you in a second. But imagine that setting an intention, it's like putting a pin on the map and saying, I'm going there. It's instead of just going. I mean, you can just go. If you like surprises, life can give you a lot of surprises if you just go.
good and bad ones. Depends on what you
Yeah. And it's also like a lighthouse to a ship. How a ship finds the lighthouse and follows it to shore. So it's kind of the same thing using these metaphors. And if you want a good example in life, how you want to buy your next car, and you just start to look out for a specific model, and then what happens? You start to see it everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
it's called the availability bias I think in heuristics, right?
So try to analyze it. What your mind does is takes your intention of getting this car model and start to presenting the opportunity for you. Here it is, here it is, here it is. And a moment before that, you haven't noticed. Why? So people think about these kind of things. There's a lot of buzz and fuzz around manifestation and people teaching how to manifest. And people think that manifestation is kind of, a magic that you do with the universe. And, you think about money, and then your coffee machine turns into a check and you're rich. But I think that the way it works is when you are focused on something, the universe will present the opportunities for you. It will say, okay, you're thinking about this. There you go. Here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is. And then you can pick it up when you're ready. So this is why setting an intention is so important. If you really want to go somewhere, just put your intention there, and you will get provided with the opportunity that you can go there.
South America recently, been traveling around and so on, and was reading this whole book through the whole trip about I think it's called it's about the subconscious mind, pretty much, right? And you know it before you know it. I think that's the title of the book exactly. And so you just have this past, evolutionary past of ours, genetics and so on, that influence our life so much. But also we have our future, which is things that we want. And when we want something, as you said, it turns from the subconscious and touches a bit this conscious, right? And we become conscious of it more and more. And so this is also what, for me, it's a way of mindfulness. It's being mindful of your past and your future and how these sort of forces influence your life.
You're on the money. You're on the money, Nizar. When you are mindful of the processes, this is the ultimate way. You know, not just being mindful of the end target or the point, but being mindful of the process of the activity, the past, the future. You might use different terminology, but when you're mindful of the activity of what you call your subconscious mind or reality, you're tuning yourself into this kind of, you know, vibration or frequency, and it's very important for sure.
And talking about vibration, that was gonna be my next question anyway. What is it about frequencies? If you go on YouTube, you will see like this frequency is for happiness, this frequency is for, I don't know, joyful life, this frequency is for inner peace, and so on and so on. So just what is it about these energies, these vibrations? How can you, does it make scientific sense to you? If not, what is your experience with it, right? Just tell us more about this. I find it a very interesting area right now that I'm exploring myself. So
Sure. So basically, what is frequency? Frequency is a way of measuring a vibration, right? You have the upside of the vibration and you have the downside of vibration, and the distance between the upper points of the vibration is the frequency.
Yeah, it's physics. It's basic physics. Yeah.
So this is a frequency. It's not like a magic word or something that some you know, woo terminology. The way I find it that it connects to mindfulness is very simple. The way I look at the world, and the way, by the way, science looks at the world, that everything is made essentially from a vibration. If you take any process of you know, a material, you know, things that you call material, and you observe it in a microscope with a very high definition lens, you will see that there's a pattern of vibrations between the particles. So everything is made of vibration. When you look at light, for example, sunlight, or even a light that you have in home, it vibrates in a very fast pace. It could be, if I'm not mistaken, 50,000 on and offs in 1 minute, but you don't know it because your retina is not, it's more picking up the on switches and not the off switches. So it looks like a continuum, but actually the only reason you can see is because it's on and off, on and off. The same thing with sound. So when you're listening to the sound of my voice, for example, what you are hearing now is the alternation between sound and silence, sound and silence. If you record and you go to your computer to see how it looks, you can see it. And if you go to the places that you are there is no sound, when the vibration is on the downside, you will hear silence. But this is the only reason why you hear sound. Imagine if there was no such thing and you would only hear the up state of the vibration, you will not be able to differentiate between silence and sound. It will be actually the same thing for you. So it's very easy to understand that everything is made of vibration. So why it's important in mindfulness? I think it's pretty straightforward. When you go to some place and you hear music, for example, music is a vibration. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel nice inside? So it has a direct impact on us. And when you go to nature and you observe some sunlight, which is also a vibration, and the motion of the trees, how does it make you feel? You know, it makes you feel good. So we are also, as human bodies, are vibrations, essentially, if you know, examine us closely. So if we resonate good enough with different vibrations, different frequencies, these resonations makes us more happy, engaged, fulfilled. I wouldn't say that you should specifically believe that a certain frequency will heal you, or a certain
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, is there some bad frequencies and good frequencies?
Obviously there are bad frequencies, like the horn in the car.
Like
when
if I
you're
hear techno, for example, techno music I would not, it's like just not for me, it doesn't match.
music doesn't match for you.
No, techno, like the hard techno
Techno
music,
music.
that
Yeah, for
doesn't.
example, exactly. So imagine a horn in a car, beep, someone uses the horn. So this is also a frequency, but you don't like it, right?
Mm.
So there are good frequencies out, good and bad are not the right terminology, but frequencies that resonates with you and frequencies that don't resonate with you. So if you find frequencies that resonate with you, it's good for you. Use it. So it's part of a holistic well-being when we use it in mindfulness. You've been in the East, you told me last time.
Yeah, I've been around Eastern Asia. Yeah, sure.
So this is the basic idea of oming. Oh,
Yeah, obviously, yeah. I find it. Sorry, I find it. I mean, there is some basic principles that make maybe some vibrations more nicer to receive, right? Like for me, I'm still thinking about my first book. I did some analysis about so basically this mix between order and chaos, right? So you have a certain structure. It's not like just, as you said, it's not like horn or just a mess where a mix of nonsense that will come and give you some beauty, right? It's more like there is some structure, but between the structure there's also a bit of chaos that makes it special, right? Makes it, I don't know, like sounds like improvised or something. I don't know. I don't know if you do you think that's some other like principles or some.
Sure.
Or is it, or depends on you? Like you need to know yourself and know what vibrates with you, and then
Yeah. I mean, it's a combination of both. You can take, genius musicians and listen to their composition, and you will find it, breathtaking.
Yeah.
But it also depends on your conditioning. What do you like? What do you prefer? So it's very important to find if the musician or if the composer that makes the vibration, the artist, it could be a light vibration as well, or any sort of vibration. If the artist is very good at what he does, it will resonate with a lot of people. Of course, you will always find people that prefer, something else. But this is the way the world is. It's very diverse. And,
diversity, yeah, sure. Okay, before I move to your application, right, that you just launched recently, what makes us vibrate in a certain way? I don't know if you have the answer. I'm just throwing the question here. Is it, as you mentioned conditioning, social conditioning maybe, or if you listen to some sort of music when you were 10 years old, maybe you still like it today, or is it more as some Eastern sort of philosophies? We talk about the stars and astrology and how that you are sort of conditioned by the universe in a certain way, right? So what is your view on this one?
Nizar, I know only myself, so I don't want to speak on behalf of the world.
Yeah,
so
okay,
I can
sure.
just speak about myself. I can tell you that I used to be a metalhead. It's hard to imagine right now, but I used to have long hair and very loud guitars. And so there was a time that these were the sort of vibrations that I liked. And I think that in the later development of my, my recent years, when I went through the journey and became more mindful of life. Now I find things that resonate with me that 5 years ago I would say that was nonsense. So it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter what is your conditioning. When you cross that barrier of you're just flowing with life, or you're appreciating life and you're mindful of life, your spectrum of possibilities opens up, and you can be excited by seeing a tree. You know, it sounds bizarre to many people, but you can actually do it. You know, 5 years ago, I would see trees as background.
Yeah, same.
Now I see trees as like, oh my God, it's amazing, you know? So it's
Yes.
really depends on the spectrum of your perception, and it's really individual, but I think there are no limits to it. And I think that no one should put boundaries around himself and say, this is the way I am, this is what I like. I call bullshit on that because I've changed so many times during my life.
Yeah, we changed a lot. Change of angle because my laptop just died. But let's go ahead and continue. We talked about vibration, we talked about mindfulness. When we hear mindfulness, we think automatically about meditation, right? What is meditation, and why do we need to care, and how to apply it? How can we just do it the right way? Because the problem is they start meditation for a week or two, they're like, oh, it's nice, I'm feeling more in peace with myself and so on. I start noticing my brain talking and all these kind of aspects, and then after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're like, oh, I'm done, you know, I stopped. So give us your advice on how to keep up this practice, and why is it useful, why is it important?
Sure. So it's a very big subject. I will try to consolidate it to 3 minutes of explanation, which is not ideal, but yeah.
The best, yes.
So what you described right now, I call meditation fatigue. So people get tired of meditation, basically drop it. And there's a good reason for it. Like imagine when people start to meditate, let's say, usually they say, I meditate 10 minutes a day, right? It's like sports or something like that. But what happens in this 10 minutes? Like 30 seconds go by, you sit in a pose or you lie down, and after 30 seconds, you get this feeling of, is it too hot in here, or is it too cold in here? And my legs kind of itchy, and am I doing this right? And what about the email I sent, but I didn't get a reply? And eventually you find yourself in, 9 minutes of this 10 minutes of meditation, not meditating. So it's
talking
to yourself.
To yourself.
It's by the way, it's a first sign of, crazy people. They talk to themselves. So every one of us should ask the question, why are we talking to ourselves? So this is the main reason why meditation is so difficult, because it sounds easy, just sit quietly for 10 minutes and don't think of nothing and think of nothing. But yeah, go ahead, try do it. Let's see. And you will find out that it's the most difficult thing you ever tried. And the second reason would be, is we are conditioned to be in a company. So for grown people, mostly, you're in company of your coworkers, and then with your family, and then with your friends, and essentially with your mobile device or TV. So you get this output all the time, and what it does to you, it's basically nullifies you. You're observed. You are inexperienced totally. Like you are not alone with yourself. And what happens to people when they sit quietly with themselves, with no, interactions with anybody or any distractions? A lot of feelings start to come up, memories start to come up. Yeah. You hear a lot of voices, and you start to freak out. Maybe I'm crazy. It's like, you remember those arcade games in the 90s when you had the boss in the end of the level? So the mind is like the ultimate boss that you have to kill. Good luck with that. It's like this boss you can find out there. So this is why people drop it. And I think that the Western notion of meditation is nonsense. This is not in any way what the Eastern philosophy talked about in the scriptures when they describe meditation. Meditation, it's not about sitting. People
think it's stop to talk. The mind shouldn't talk.
Yeah, good luck with that. When you're trying to make the mind stop, what happens? Well, just make an experiment with yourself and say, stop talking, mind. What happens? The minds continue to talk. You know, there is no way to stop the mind. Everybody tries to do it in a very violent way of like forcing, and this is not the way to do it. Meditation.
Or try not to think about a red apple, right? It's just the mind doesn't know how to work.
Yeah. Don't think of elephants, you know. So it's not possible. So the way you do it, basically, you need to understand that meditation is who we are. It's not something that we do. It's not an activity, and it's definitely not something that you do to improve yourself. It's something that you do because you do it. It's fun. It's just fun. And the way to do it is try to find those moments in life when you're totally immersed in something you love. It could be cooking, playing, gardening, being with friends, you know, anything really that puts you in the meditative states that people like to refer to. And when you do, you realize that you didn't make any effort for that to come. So it's something natural that you are anyway. But when you try to force it, when you try to like, I'm gonna sit and meditate and this time I'm gonna nail it. It doesn't work. So stop trying to fight with your mind, because your mind is way smarter than you.
So what's your tip on this? If I don't fight with it, then what should I do? Just hear it speak all the time?
Exactly. Yeah. You should treat it as the way you would treat a musical piece. You know, when you listen to music, especially music that you love, what do? You just let your ears absorb everything, and you don't judge it. You don't say, oh, this is a guitar, this is a drum, he's playing on that beat, and he's playing on this tone. No, you don't do that. I mean, when you do, you can do it, but it's boring, you know. The way you do it is you just listen. Or if you dance, you don't think, okay, I'm going to take my foot and place it there, and then I'm going to take my hand and place it there. I'm going to move my head. You just go. So when you're trying to meditate in the, sitting meditation or lying meditation, what you do is you just be there. Without engaging, the mind will go and work and tell you things. The last thing you want to do is, no, I don't want to think about it. Once you do that, you're hooked. So the mind is trying to engage with you in the activity of thinking, because you're so conditioned to thinking and perceiving. But what you need to do is just observe your mind. Just observe it. Just, oh, this is what you have to say. Cool. I don't have any opinion about that. And let it just flow.
Next.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, nice. And it could be very sophisticated with time. When you get good, it could show you some amazing vivid pictures. It could give you ideas. You will be overwhelmed, but you must continue with this observation. In Buddhism, they say, I don't recall if it's Zen Buddhism or regular Buddhism, they say, if the Buddha comes during the meditation, kill him. Yeah, so
that's
this
interesting.
Is don't engage. This is the way you meditate.
I had a podcast with a Moroccan sort of entrepreneur as well, a woman, very, very ambitious, very interesting persona to talk to, and she was talking about she wrote a book as well called the roommate, the hidden roommate in French, the hidden roommate. So like how her experience with trying to talk with this roommate and just make good relationship with him in order to move forward with her career and plans and happiness and so on. So it's interesting. Okay, Rudy, last question about your application. Can you tell us a bit more? Because I've tried it. We're gonna share it with the audience, but I want to hear it from your word as a founder. Obviously, it's like your baby. Why did you get the idea in the first place? And so how does the app work? Why is it only 90 seconds? So just go through all that in a few minutes, right?
Yeah. So thanks for asking and giving me the opportunity to share the launch of Affirmate, which is I'm very excited about. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. You can actually find part of the story in our website, but I had a very vivid dream 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago almost. And in this dream, I saw a method, a practice that would be easy for people from all walks of life to engage in mindfulness. And I really saw it in detail in the dream. And when I woke up, I was blown away. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was walking around the house and thinking, you know, from my entrepreneurial mind, how can I make this happen?
But did you see all the functionalities or just the like the idea and the sound and
you know, I mean, you know how dreams are like. When
like,
you wake up, you don't remember exactly everything, but I did remember a lot of vivid details about how it will transmute positive affirmations into light vibrations and to make the practice that, you know, that counts. I saw those details. And I played with it for a while, but I was, you know, deep in my tech career and I didn't want, you know, any new adventures, so I kind of forgot about it. And a year and a half ago, I was sitting with a very good friend of mine, which is today is my co-founder, Roy, and we were speaking about dreams, which is a very interesting topic of itself.
Yeah, definitely.
And I told him about the dream, and he was blown away. He was, oh my God, we can help so many people, you know. And we talked about it, and I told him, you know what, think about it for a week, because, you know, maybe you're excited now, but who knows after some times. Think about it for a week, and let's meet in a week. And if you still find it so interesting, you know, let's give it a try. So I met him after a week and I said, well, did you think about it? And he said, yeah, every single day. And since we have embarked on this adventure, and to give like a high level of what is Affirmate. Affirmate is a mindfulness tool that connects between the body and mind in a practice that takes 90 seconds and less throughout the day. So it's a tool. If we're talking about mindfulness as something that is the backdrop of all practices, then Affirmate is one of those tools that will help along the way. The main idea is taking positive self-affirmations, which has been proven, you know, as CBT researchers, as a very effective way to build one's own self in confidence, in heal oneself, etc. And combined with technology. So what we did is we went to experts of sound healing and we recorded all these amazing instruments. And then we took technology and converted the words of the affirmation into light vibrations. So once you do the practice, you take a ring or a necklace and put it on the phone when the practice begins, and you see how it absorbs the light vibration, and you can also hear it. And it takes only 90 seconds a day. But the thing is that you have created a tangible connection. So this is the main part. It's like when you go to a temple or a church or a mosque, or you take some sort of object with you. It could be a ring, a necklace that has a certain meaning to you, and you bless it, you know, in the place. It's a very common thing that we people do for thousands of years, you know, maybe.
So you sort of give it your energy, so right, so like
Exactly.
vibration.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So this is a tangible connection. This is something physical that was charged with something metaphysical, and naturally we as people find it very compelling. So what Affirmate does is create this tangible connection. So you have the ring, you set your intention, let's say on health, right in the morning, you did the 90-second experience, and then you put the ring on and you go about your day, and something happened, or, you know, you get some anxiety, and then you just take a look at the ring or touch the ring, and you're like, oh, I've set an intention for today, so this is something that I'm going to do.
Or subconsciously, you don't have to think about it, you just, you know.
Exactly. So it's something that lasts throughout the day, and you have like this constant reminder of, this is my intention, this is my lighthouse, this is my pinpoint of the map. And this is what we do, and we believe that it will help a lot of people without any experience of mindfulness or meditation, and it will resonate more with the broader section of people today, and it will help them along the way, because it's a tool for your journey. And I feel like everyone feels like they're on a journey at life. Some say it's a spiritual journey, some say it's a journey of self-development. Any journey, you're already on the journey. Use this tool.
Always appreciate ideas for the story that they have, right? Rather than just the products, the final product itself. But it's a good thing. Okay, Rudy, thank you so much. We'll share the link with you guys in the description below. And thank you so much for sharing, and I hope to see you again soon. Maybe for a third video at some point. But,
for sure. It's have fun talking to you, Zara. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a good day, Rudy. Okay?
Have a beautiful day.
You too. Bye-bye.